Hi friends, you're watching Movie Reviews with Raghuram. In this video, I'll be reviewing the Malayalam movie Antakshari, which is premiering on Sony Live. I happen to watch its Kannada version. You can watch in the language which you love. I also watched once again the movie to feel its originality. I watched the movie in Malayalam, so the movie is really awesome. It is a very good and neatly written, cleanly written investigative thriller, so I should tell. So the movie Antakshari, it starts off with a different mode, with a slight crime mode, and then immediately the mood of the movie shifts on to a funny mode, so like a lighter mode, I should tell. So it introduces us to a cop, Das. So he's a police officer who is obsessed with singing Antakshari, not only with his family members but also with those who have been brought into the custody, those who have been brought to his police station. He plays Antakshari with those people and he enjoys. So that is the sort of police officer he is. He is a very good person, light-hearted person, but he loves playing that Antakshari. Not before he gets an anonymous call. The person on the other side of the call is equally obsessed with Antakshari, and now there is a tug between the hero, that is a cop who sings Antakshari, and an unseen villain, anonymous villain who also loves Antakshari. So here it is Antakshari versus Antakshari. And how does this game take us ahead? Who is that anonymous caller? So after that anonymous call, there are a lot of events which develop. The cop's daughter who is coming from the school is attacked by some masked person. That particular attack is seen by the cop's wife. She becomes mute. She goes into a panic attack, and then not only as a police officer, it becomes responsibility as a father for this particular cop to get into the investigation of that particular case. Who attacked my daughter, and what exactly they want from this, and what exactly is happening. He takes the help of a new cop who has been recruited in his own police station to solve this particular case, and he goes through the past, digging into the past, and he drags some secrets and some events which had happened in the past, like we call dragging the dead bodies out of the closet. Then during the investigation process, our cop finds out a similar modus operandi operating in the previous cases which had happened in the past. So he goes on connecting the dots, and are those cases somewhere connected to the attack on his daughter? Is there a dark past which is related to his story? Are the haunting stories from the past coming behind our cop? What is the connection? Who is the anonymous caller? Where does this investigation take us to? All these events are stitched together, which culminate in a very interesting and engaging climax which happens in the dark, again with an Antakshari played between the protagonist and the antagonist, and you need to wait to see who exactly is the culprit, whether the cop can catch hold of the culprit, whether he can protect his family from the attack of that particular culprit. Are the stories from the past connected to his present story? So what exactly is happening? So those things, if you want to know those things, you need to watch Antakshari. Antakshari is a very good investigative thriller. As I said, it is intense and engaging. Meanwhile, in the movie, different elements are connected. You can get to see serial killing, you can get to see physical abuse, rape, you can see casteism, animal abuse, child abuse, psychopath killers, everything. Almost many elements are there in this particular movie, and some scenes are also disturbing. A disclaimer, some scenes are also disturbing. Amidst all these things, in the backdrop, we keep getting the old melodious Malayalam songs. They were very pleasant to hear. I don't know many Malayalam songs. I have heard a very few of late Malayalam songs. Old Malayalam songs I'm not very well versed with. That's why I watched the original. So the Antakshari taking place between the protagonist and the antagonist and all those places, we get to see the songs from the old Malayalam films, I feel. So they're also very pleasant. So coming to the technical part, the cinematography is brilliant. It creates an atmosphere and tension which is needed for a crime investigative thriller. So the atmosphere is good, the locations are good, the cinematography is good, the background music is really effective and maintains the tension throughout the movie while engaging and gripping investigative thriller. The story is being narrated to us. The screenplay is good. The screenplay slopes down here and there and suddenly picks up. There are shades of screenplay, but overall I should tell it is an engaging screenplay, and a very difficult and complicated and intertwined screenplay, I should tell. So why a complicated screenplay? Because there are many subplots in the story which don't get a closure at the end. There are many characters in the story which don't get closure at the end. You are waiting to see who is this person, but that person? Who is that person? The director doesn't clarify at the end. You want to know the story of that particular subplot which is there in this particular story going along with the investigative thriller. You don't get a closure to that particular subplot. So it keeps you. So are these elements added in the movie to maintain the suspense, or to confuse the viewer, or to make them think in a different way, or to think that this particular person may be involved in this particular crime and create a lot of confusion and mess up? I don't know. But why were those characters there in the story? Why were there those subplots there in the story? So we don't get a closure, a clear closure towards the end, but the main plot, somewhere it gets a closure. Even in the climax, when the main culprit is arrested, so you will feel, okay, is this person the real culprit, or somebody from the subplot was also involved? So for many people it can get you to the point of unsatisfaction, so wherein the movie ends. So herein I should tell that it is an intelligent storytelling. So like in a setting of a crime investigation, many subplots and many characters are accidentally shown to us, like a politician is shown, like a doctor with a wicked mind, so we can get to see that. We have a mute girl coming and going here and there. We have a complicated family with complicated relationships, so that also we can see. We can see a child abuse. We can see a person who is selling the ice creams and misbehaving with the small girls. So like this you get to see a lot of elements which complicate the screenplay. And yes, whether it is a intelligent screenplay, tricky screenplay, or a complicated screenplay, or a screenplay written to confuse us, you need to decide after watching the movie. But overall the movie is engaging, I should tell. Coming to the acting, there are many good actors here. I am not well versed with the Malayalam actors. Saiju Kurup, who plays the cop Das role, is really awesome. You should see the chemistry going on within him. So a worried dad and a curious investigator, both those things, the case has become personal to him, and you should see. So here he is not an intimidating cop, he is not a Singham like cop, he is not a superhero. So he is a worried dad. On the backdrop of an investigator, you have a worried dad. So those that particular character of Saiju Kurup as Das has been written brilliantly. His wife's role or his daughter's role, a couple of cops who are playing in and around. So everybody's role is good, but Saiju Kurup stands out tall and apart in this particular movie as the protagonist. And on the backdrop of the movie, yes, this is what I want to tell. On the backdrop of the movie, there is a very important message, a social message about the childhood trauma, how these childhood traumas get a shape of psychological disorders, how they shape up and mold up into psychological disorders as the children grow up into becoming the adults, how they create psychopathic tendencies in those individuals, how these people start committing the crime. So where does the backdrop of the criminal tendencies and the psychopathic tendencies develop in individuals? So this particular thing has been beautifully explored on the backdrop of the movie. Overall, apart from the small lacunae here and there, I should tell Antakshari is a decent or a good one-time watch, especially for those who love watching intelligent thrillers, intelligent investigative thrillers. Watch out for Saiju Kurup, you will fall in love with him. For a different concept which has been explored, for the message, social message it gives, and the method of investigations carried on in this particular movie, the concept of Antakshari being introduced to us in a very lighter way on the backdrop of the investigations or an investigative thriller, and for the different mood it creates in a thriller genre, I would go with 8.5 out of 10 for Antakshari. And look at that particular cinematography where the cinematographer plays with light and darkness, the climax shot in dark, the cat and mouse between the antagonist and protagonist, and one particular scene where you get a jump scare moment, and it gives an impression of even watching a horror movie in a thriller genre. So where our cop goes with a torch inside a small cottage to find something, and suddenly you find a jump scare moment, and you will not be expecting that. Your heart will miss a beat for a second. Watch out for that. Thanks for watching my video. If you loved my video, kindly like, share and subscribe to my channel. I'll catch up with you all in my next video with yet another movie review. Until then, do take care. Goodbye. Namaste. Yeah, I forgot to tell the captain of the ship I did not mention, man. Vipin Das, the writer and director of the movie. Commendable job, I should tell. Brought a unique concept, and he has made it into a very interesting movie named as Antakshari.